and welcome to our Insight Interviews, where we take a closer look at some of the films in the lineup for the Canberra International Film Festival of 2011. I'm your host, Vicki Collins, and today we're looking at Swedish film Sebbe. I have with me here at Dendy Cinemas Festival Director Simon Weaving, who's going to answer a few questions for us. Simon, thanks for coming along again.
It's a pleasure to be here.
There's an interesting aspect to this, isn't there, where the director himself is not Swedish, but he moved to Sweden at about the same age as Sebbe is in the film. And we're getting, I think, perhaps quite an accessible outsider's view of Sweden, aren't we? What's he trying to say?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Babak Najafi, the director, is actually from Iran, and he left Iran when the revolution happened in the 80s, and he was only 12 when he came to Sweden. And you get this very strong sense of somebody who's looking at Sweden and Swedish society from the outside. And he said himself that he often felt that most people behind the camera were from the middle class, and he obviously wasn't. And so his perspective on Swedish society, on this, I guess this woman who's living pretty much in poverty, but they're very ordinary people in a sense. They're not, and he's made this point, he didn't want the poverty to be connected to crime and to be connected to alcoholism or drug taking. They're people who are just like us, they're everyday people, but they're living in impoverished circumstances. And I think it's a really refreshing way of telling a story. Yeah,
agreed. And there's a lovely parallel going on between Sebbe's life and his mother's life. Would you say it's a story about dependence, that you know, which one is dependent more on the other?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Sebbe, who's only 15, he's bullied at school, and he does depend upon his mother emotionally for support. And ultimately, it's her inability to support him, because she's got all of her own problems to deal with, that causes him to go a bit off the edge, which is where the film's sort of heading.
Yeah, fantastic. That's what I love about this film. There's some really pertinent personal issues that are going to relate to anyone in a family, but is a really interesting story that crescendos at the end in something quite unexpected.
And I guess we get the sense of this driven character.
Absolutely, and there's a lineup of those, isn't there, in the festival this year?
There is indeed. We have a whole strand of films in a strand called Driven, and they're all about these really focused characters, and it's a lovely example of that kind of film.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, folks. Watch out for the Driven series, and in particular Sebbe. The festival starts on 26th of October. Details are on this site.